Can you believe this anime character was created in less than an hour? Yes, that's possible, and all tools are absolutely free. In this video, I'm gonna show you what reference images I use, how I create 3D models from them, how I combine parts and fix small issues, texture it in best free AI tool, quickly rig that in Mixamo, and then apply toon-shader in Blender and in game engine like Unity. Alright guys, this is time for a video that many of you asked. And we're gonna create Zelda, but we're gonna create her in anime style. So first step, as usual, we're gonna need right reference. And here's what I prepared already. So my initial character should look like this. And if you missed out, I already have a video to explain how I do this, like with full explanation. Check this video. So in this case, I have character with long hairs, and it makes absolute sense to separate head so we can control hairs separately. So I have head in 3 views, and I do have body in 3 views. I have hands separately because usually fingers might be tricky to do at once with the body, so I recommend to make them separate and combine later. Hopefully at some point it will be good enough and we don't need to do that. And of course I need bow. Optionally you can also create arrows if you want to use it when in game. And the best option to create 3D is of course Hunyuan. We're gonna use it, a Chinese version of website. We're gonna use Hunyuan 3.1. We're gonna go with multi-images. Here we're gonna need to drop them in the relevant places. No magic here, just add the images. Make sure the poly count is selected. We don't need it extremely high poly. 500k is enough for this case. And I also show you how to do optimization, not inside Blender. And let's hit generate. I did exactly the same for another objects, and let's review the results. So here's the body, and I like it. I mean, the reference has sort of anime textures, and you can see it actually created really decent texture. You can see it here. As expected, the hands are a little bit problematic. You see the fingers are merged sort of. That's not okay. It will be difficult to rig, but we have a solution for it. So of course I created hands separately as well. Okay, and here's the hand. Well, way better. I mean, all fingers spread exactly as we need it, and a little bit sort of toon shader. And we're gonna go with head, and here's the result. And the result is beautiful. I mean, some problem with the neck, but we're gonna address that in sculpting. And the bow as well. Looks good. Okay, so now let's download all the models and drag and drop them in Blender. And guys, I really want to remind you that there is top3d.ai, the website I created for you, where you can find best 3D AI and actually compare which one is the best. We recently updated website. Now there is like low poly on the arena. You can blind test them and vote. Check the leaderboard to find out who is the best for geometry, low poly, and segmentation. Yeah, we also added segmentation. Since more and more models support it, you can review how they perform. You can check it in explode stage. This might be actually very useful for some cases. And of course, it's absolutely free. I just ask you to hit that like and subscribe button, and that will motivate me to create more tutorials and bring more knowledge to you. And here's what we have. We're gonna hide bow for now. We're gonna need to combine hands and body, and also position head and do fixes to the neck. Okay, so there is no magic. I just gonna position it. Now before we start connecting hand, let me explain the logic how I gonna do that and why I decided to make hand look like this. So in original hand, I'll cut it on this line, so I keep this part and it's easy to connect new hand. And for the new hand, I'll cut it here, and that will make it easier for me to connect it seamlessly. Okay, so let's continue positioning in the right place. Now, when that's done, let's hide everything and just focus on the body. In the body, as I said, I'll need to just disconnect this part. So there's few ways to do that. I really like the lasso mask. Also, you can use a mask brush. And if you never tried sculpting, trust me, it is extremely simple. I do have a dedicated video about it. You only need to know few tools to be able to achieve up to 90% of what you need. You can do it. I'm gonna select it with the brush. I can actually disable texture for now to better see the masking. You can see the bubble on top. Switch between solid mode and textured mode. It's easier to see mask in solid mode. So here's what I do. I just selected mask brush, and I just painting the area that I need to remove. Note, when hold Ctrl, you can inverse the action and deselect the masked area. Alright, I did that for one hand and I'm gonna do the same exact thing for another. When that's done, we're gonna go to mask menu and select mask slice and fill holes. What it's gonna do, it's gonna cut that part and cover the hole with the new mesh. Now we can actually unhide new head, and now we're gonna select hand, go to sculpt mode, and we're gonna need my favorite brush called elastic grab. It's basically like working with clay. You just drag and move some parts around. So here what I do, I just move that part inside like this, just to make sure we don't see these problems and we keep that original stuff like this. Alright, now when that's done, let's hide body, and how about we cut this unused part. So now we know that we extended hand as much as we need. Now I'm gonna select lasso mask again, also one of my favorite tool. Just select it like this. Make sure you selected it from the another side as well. You can combine it with mask brush like this. When that's done, gonna use the same tool, go to the mask menu and select mask, slice and fill holes again. Alright, don't forget to clear mask, otherwise you'll not be able to change that masked area. It will not move until it masks. So yeah, just clear the mask. Gonna enable body again, and now we can go to the sculpt mode and finalize the geometry here. So I'm gonna just move it a little bit like this. Okay, and now it's time to actually mirror the hands. So how we're gonna do that? I'm gonna use mirror modifier, but before use it, we're gonna go to object mode, and we're gonna see, you can see this small dot here is basically where the hand origin, and usually every modifier takes that into account. To mirror it along the body, we need to press on the hand, go to object, set origin, and set origin to 3D cursor. Usually 3D cursor is in 0, 0, 0 coordinates, which means that if we go now and add the mirror modifier, nothing gonna happen, because we also need to apply the rotation and scale. You can see them in the item menu, and you see like the rotation has some values and scale. We need to apply that to make sure that the current transformation is the final transformation. It's very simple. Just select the object and press Ctrl A on the keyboard and select rotation and scale. By the way, you can see all the buttons I'm click here. When that's done, you can see our mirror modifier working just fine, and then we have our hand mirrored on the left side. Okay, we can actually apply the modifier, and now we can go to the sculpt mode, and why not we adjust this part as well. I'm gonna also fix the thumb a little bit with the grab brush, similar to elastic grab, and we are actually done. We do have hands and body pretty much ready. So now we're gonna go to the head. I'm gonna use the same brushes pretty much, but here I also gonna need a smooth brush to fix this artifact on the head. You can either select it in the menu, or you can press Shift on your keyboard, and while holding Shift, any brush is converted to the smooth brush, so you can combine them with any other except masks. Okay, so using the smooth brush, I'll just fix it a little bit. You can always choose the size of a brush by pressing F and moving your mouse around, or you can do that in the top menu. Also controlling the strength. We don't really care about textures right now because we're gonna address it on the next step, so just care about nice geometry. And maybe for you it will be easier to see problems in the solid mode like this. I'm gonna just make eyeballs a bit more round. Also, I'm gonna use grab brush and move the hair a little bit forward to not intersect the body. So I'm gonna do that like this. And now let's hide the body and do something with the neck. It's really funny. I don't really need much. I'm gonna go and select blob brush and just add some volume to it, because it still will be hidden, so we don't really care about it. Okay, so this will be the final result. I think that's actually fine. What do you think? Okay, so now we're gonna need to export it and start texturing. Depending on the file size of your model, you might need to split it object by object. In my case, it was a bit too heavy, more than 100 megabytes, so I decided to just import it one by one, export it as FBX with packet textures. Okay, and here we have all the objects in the Motif. So Motif is an amazing tool for texturing from the projection, and I don't know really the tool that can give you that much options. And everything I show in this video, you can do absolutely for free, unlimited. But before we're gonna texture, in Motif, you can optimize models. Since you notice that the models that we created are quite high poly, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna select each model, and here we're gonna press 3 dots, simplify. I'm gonna choose custom, and for bow, for example, I'm gonna go with 5K, and I'm gonna keep generate normal map, which will basically bake details from high poly model to my low poly. And this is amazing. It actually saves quite a lot of time. So we're gonna hide the original bow. We're gonna do the same exact thing for the head. For the head, I'm gonna go with 15K. I tried a few times and it seems like 15K gives the best result. Ideally, you're gonna need to target it as low as possible until you're happy with the details level. Alright, and for the body, I'm gonna go with just 20K preset. Okay, and here's the result. Lastly, we need hands, and I'm gonna go with 10K just because of fingers. We want to keep them detailed for the animation. Alright, and when that's done, we're gonna select the body part we're gonna paint, and we're gonna go in texture tab here on the top. Now here I'm gonna go to the single view, and I'm gonna drop and add all the references here. You're gonna do that with the plus button. The workflow is very simple. You select one image, select the view, and press generate image. There's option to generate it completely and copy the layer or patch something. We're gonna start with complete your texture, so to make it work, make sure you disable the current layers like I have right now. And when that's done and the right reference is selected, we can actually press generate image. And here you can see I already created image, and here's the magic. We're gonna press add as layer and upscale, or add as layer. And here you go. Look how cool is that. I just actually copied on the texture. It also can do upscaling, and look how it will improve further. Boom. That's amazing. That immediately gives like better quality than it was in Hunyuan. And I just gonna copy this flow and do that again from another view, press the same button, and here we go. For the back view, I'm gonna select the back view reference here, which one I already added, and do exactly the same. Press generate image. When image is generated, add as layer and upscale. When majority is textured, you might see these black lines or some other imperfection that we can address with the patching. So you're first selecting these tools and select the area that you don't like. So yes, I'm gonna paint this area with all these lines like this. And now when this mode is activated, make sure you created new layer by pressing this button, because all patches need a layer. One new layer is enough. And now you can actually select the reference and generate image. But this time we're gonna use patch tool to actually paint on top of the area. Just like that, you go patch some stuff, generate image with right reference. When you're happy with the generated image, patch it with this tool. So I painted body and fixed the body. Then I did the same with hands and the bow. And lastly, I'm gonna need to fix eyes. Okay, so I got the image, and yeah, here's the workflow basically. You set the view, generate image, patch the area that you want to fix. Okay, and lastly, I need to fix this eyelashes, the backside of the eyelashes. Wow, I mean, like it gives like really nice shade. And yeah, I fixed some small lines there and there. And just like that, I'm pretty happy with the result. When all objects are textured, now it's time to export it and bring it to Blender. You can export it as GLB, but I'm gonna use FBX export because it's most stable, but it only available in Pro tier. Or you can even just export texture image and replace it in the Blender if you know how to do that. Okay, so now it's time to bring all objects in Blender. Yeah, they're positioned in the same way they position it in Motif, so I'm gonna need to combine them all together back. Should not be a problem. Just gonna position them. And here we go. We are halfway done. Now the next step is rigging. To do that, I'm gonna select everything but bow, go to export and choose OBG. And make sure you have selection only and you don't really need material. Press export. And let's go. Okay, we're gonna go to Mixamo, and here we're gonna go to upload character and drop your OBG character here. When it's processed, you're gonna be asked to place the markers. There are tips that's quite easy to follow. Just drag and drop the points in where it suggests. We're gonna go with standard skeleton. We're gonna go with next. Then here you're able to apply different animations and export them. I was searching the animation for Bowman, and here I found standing idle 01. Okay, I think I'm gonna use it, and I will add the bow to the hand. We're gonna export it with pretty much default settings. Maybe I'll just add 60 frames per second. Let's download it as FBX and drop back to Blender. Now you might need to set the right scale. It's usually 100 times smaller than it was before. So just set the scale to the armature and reapply the materials. So how do you do that? You go to Material tab and assign the original materials from the objects that we had here. And now the one thing I want to show you is that how I will attach the bow to the hand so we can actually play the animation together with the bow. So first of all, we need to position it, right? A bit tricky. You can do that with the controller here. Okay, so I finally positioned it. Now I'm gonna press on the bow and with the shift press on the armature. Right click on the 3D viewer, choose parent and select armature deform here. That will actually parent it but will not assign any weights. Now we're gonna go to edit mode of the armature and we're gonna select this bone. You might see the bones a little bit different way, like triangles. That's basically the same bones. It's just my preset in Blender. We're gonna select this hand bone, then we're gonna select bow, parent, and we're gonna select bone. And now you can see when we move the bone in the pose mode, the bow is actually moving together with it. Another thing that I don't like is that we have some problem with the face. This is because the head bone is not 100% affecting the head itself, the face. That's easy to fix. I'm gonna select armature, with shift select the head, go to weights paints, with control shift click on the bone that I need to fix. In this case, I need to first select neck bone and make sure that face has zero affection of the neck, right? So I basically painted blue. The weight is set here and you can also control the strength. Now we're gonna Ctrl Shift and click on the head bone, but do the opposite. Just make sure it is red. So this bone is controlling the head 100%. Okay, and now it looks like it's way better. If you're struggling with the weights, I got you. This is probably the most annoying part. I do have a dedicated video about rigging where I explain the bare minimum tools that you need to fix your 3D character and bring them to the game. Alright, and now let's talk about the fun part. How about we apply toon-shader? So to do that, we're gonna need absolutely free add-on called VRM, which brings toon-shader to the Blender. The link will be in the description. Just download it and install. This add-on, by the way, also allows exporting VRM characters that you later can use, for example, in VRChat, Vroid, any VTubing software with that toon-shader. Here, by the way, you have this drag and drop into the Blender, so you can basically drag and drop it to the Blender and it will be installed. Okay, so here's how you install it. You just basically download it as a zip archive. Then when you go to the Blender, go Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, here install from disk. Now just gonna need to select that file and wait a little bit. And you must be able to see something like this. VRM format checked. Got it? We're gonna save preferences and now you can see it here in your tab. If you don't see that menu, press this arrow here and it open it and you'll see it. Let's continue. Now when it's activated, you can go to the material tab of body, for example, and here you'll see VRM material and you can enable VRM M-Toon material. Let's enable it and wait. And here we have something like this. This is because we need to do some setup. This shader looks a little bit scary, but it's actually simple. Here in shader, we're gonna need to connect lit color texture to lit color texture color and shade color texture to shade color texture. And now it looks better. You can also control some settings. You can actually play around to set it like as you want. There's many settings like you can play around. Here is my preferred setup. Okay, and here we have some nice effects. You can see you can set shades and everything. You can even activate outline. So in my case, I'm gonna go and do the same thing for bow and the head, and here is the final result. Pretty cool actually. Okay, but we are moving to the next step. How about we bring it to Unity? But this is basically only for Blender. This shader cannot be directly exported to Unity because we need to set it in game engine, and I'm gonna show it to you too. Now let's snap back when we were just a minute ago. Okay, so here's our rigged character. Now let's export it and drop to the Unity. But before, I'm gonna go to external data and unpack resources and choose use files in current directory, which will create a texture folder in the same folder where this Blender file is located. That will basically give me access to textures. We're gonna need them to configure materials inside Unity. And I also exported the model as FBX. Okay, I'm gonna go to Unity Hub. I'm currently using version 6.3, and here you can create universal 3D preset. So we're gonna use it. I'm gonna call it like anime test, and let's create a project. So before we start, we're gonna need some package that supports toon-shaded. We're gonna go package manager. Here in package manager, we're gonna select install package from git URL and type com.unity.toon-shader like that, and press install. Now let's go to our asset folder, and here we're gonna drag and drop all the textures first, and also drag and drop the FBX that we exported. Now first, let's drag and drop the model to the scene, and let's locate it maybe above the ground. And now here's how you do that. Let's create a material. Right click on any empty space in assets, create a material. Let's name it body first. Now here in shader, let's choose toon and also toon again. Okay, so this is pretty much our shader, and let's wait, it's compiling something. Now the shader looks like this, and what we're gonna need to do is basically drag and drop the maps. So first I'm gonna drag and drop this to the base map slot, just like that. And we can actually already drag and drop the material on the body. Give it some time, and it's not working because we need a few more settings. So you need to understand that it basically works as layers, and this one supports up to 3 layers, also called as feather, that basically add some layer of the color. So we're gonna check apply the first shading feather, and here you can control when it stops and starts. You can even add like one more layer by activating apply to second shading feather, and then here is the setting like shading color step that control it. It's gonna add one more layer, but I don't really need it. I'm okay with just one shading feather. We can also add normal map. There's plenty of settings. I will also add rim light a little bit, and in the end there is also of course the outline that is activated, but you need to set the width. So let's add a little bit width and select the color to be completely black. So this is how you basically activate outline. If you need it more thicker, just select bigger width. I think like this should be very good. I'm gonna go to rim light again and choose rim light feather off to make it more toonish like this. And I choose the color maybe a little bit whiter. How about this? I think I like it. Okay, so now I'm gonna do exactly the same for whole the body, and this is the final result. How cool is that? We just created whole anime character, and this whole process took me just a little bit more than 1 hour. Of course, you can bring animations here and use it inside the game engine. Let me know in the comment if you want same tutorial but for Unreal Engine. The process is pretty much the same, you just need to find right shader and set the model there. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.